good place in terms of getting the wall built and also getting Mexico to participate in our border security. None of that is Mexico paying for the wall. Let's just be you and I both know that it cannot work exactly like that. I can't spend any money at the Office of Management and Budget. The Department of Homeland Security can't actually spend money from Mexico. We have to get it from the Treasury.
'Twas the weekend before Christmas, and all through D.C., the government was in shutdown with not a budget to see. Donald Trump was insisting on building a wall, but he forgot to get Mexico to pay for it all. Good morning and welcome to AM Joy. Yes, friends, we are here in the nation's capital, where the House and Senate are now officially out of session, meaning the partial government shutdown will last at least through Christmas. Merry Christmas. But don't worry though, kids. NORAD says they're going to continue to track Santa Larry as he skims across the planet, bringing you good kids your presents. But who, you ask, is the Grinch, who is forcing hundreds of thousands of federal employees to either work without pay this holiday or be sent home, including thousands of TSA and Border Patrol agents? Why, Donald Trump, of course. And also the Republicans who control the entire federal government, but who remain far apart in negotiations with the Democrats, who are making it as clear as Mexico has that American taxpayers will not be paying for Trump's vanity wall.
It will never pass the Senate. Not today, not next week, not next year. So, Mr. President, President Trump, if you want to open the government, you must abandon the wall. Plain and simple.
They control the House, the Senate, and the White House. And Democrats are certainly happy to talk about border security, but we're not going to build this stupid vanity wall of Donald Trump with U.S. taxpayer dollars.
Joining me now is Democratic Congresswoman from Washington State, Pramila Jayapal. And Congressman, first of all, happy holidays to you.
To you too, Joy.
So you just heard Chuck Schumer on the Senate side, and on the House side, Congressman Ted Lieu, your fellow congressman, saying the American taxpayers will not be paying for Donald Trump's vanity wall. So where do we go from here? If the Democrats are saying you get nothing, and the Republicans are saying we must have wall paid for by Americans, not Mexico, where do we go from here?
Well, I think it's incredibly unfair to the 800,000 federal workers, but it probably means that we're going to go into the new year and Democrats are going to have to come back and take over in the House and then finally pass a bill, which, by the way, was bipartisan in the Senate, that said no wall money for the president. The Senate passed that in a bipartisan way. The Freedom Caucus, Ann Coulter, Fox News, Sean Hannity, Rush Limbaugh, they said, no, we don't want this. And instead of listening to Jim Mattis, Donald Trump listened to Fox News. And that's why we're in the state we're in.
Well, the other person who seems to be listening to Ann Coulter and Fox News and Rush Limbaugh is the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Because, as you said, and I think I said this like 80 times yesterday in just disbelief, the Senate passed a clean budget bill. All the House has to do is pass the same bill. That's, sort of democracy 101. The House can simply pass the bill and move on. And if Donald Trump vetoed it, find the votes to override. Does it surprise you that Paul Ryan, who's leaving, didn't have, I guess, what you might call the courage to just put the bill on the floor and see what happens?
It doesn't surprise me. It's a dereliction of duty. It's his last act. He could have put the bill on the floor. It would have gotten the votes to pass. And then Donald Trump would have been in the position where both House and Senate had passed a bipartisan bill, and he would have to sign it or decide to go to a shutdown. Paul Ryan didn't do that. He got, you're exactly right. And I think that it's fitting for how he has conducted himself this term, Joy. He has not been a speaker with a moral backbone or the ability to negotiate his caucus out. Remember, Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. They are negotiating against themselves right now because they should be able to prevent a shutdown.
Do you I don't know how many cross-party conversations happen these days. Washington is a lot more toxic and a lot more partisan than perhaps it was in the past, or at least more openly so. Do Congress members on the other side of the aisle, Republicans, say to you privately why it is that they won't ever defy either Donald Trump or Fox News?
They really don't talk about it. They talk about their base. But here's the thing. It really does bother me that even these moderate Republicans in the House, who I have respect for, went along with this ridiculous idea of putting $5.7 billion back into the CR to send over to the Senate. They knew it was not going to pass the Senate. So that is also just plain to Donald Trump. And, you know, in the end, I mean, Joy, you know I've done so much work on immigration. This is a canard. It's a red herring to say that somehow we need this $5 billion to secure the border. Apprehensions at the border are at an all-time low. The only crisis at the border is the humanitarian crisis that Donald Trump has manufactured. So he's selling a bunch of lies to the American people, and 800,000 federal workers now don't get to enjoy Christmas with the certainty of, you know, having a paycheck now, not later, but now to pay the rent and the groceries and buy their Christmas presents.
Yeah, and I know that you have done a lot of work on immigration. So just preview us for us in the next Congress, when Democrats actually have control of the House, what can we expect Democrats to put forward on actual immigration reform?
Well, I think you'll see us put forward immediately a DREAM Act bill and a bill around TPS, temporary protected status, and you will see us do a number of things from oversight hearings to restrictions on how money is spent for enforcement and border patrol around these cruel family separation policies. That, I think, will happen fairly quickly within the first 100 days, I hope. But then I think you will also see us put forward a platform for what real immigration reform looks like. The system has been broken, and we have a chance to proactively let the American people know, the majority of whom, by the way, support immigration in spite of everything that Donald Trump has done. The majority of Americans still want to see immigration continue. They don't want restrictions. So we will put forward a platform of exactly what that looks like. And hopefully every presidential candidate running in 2020 is going to embrace that platform and stay far away from this horrible xenophobic, racist, discriminatory language that Donald Trump keeps using when he talks about immigrants and immigration.
Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, thank you so much for your time this morning. Have a wonderful, happy holiday, a happy new year to yourself, your family, and the members of your district. Thank you.
To you too, Joy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's bring in our panel. Jason Johnson, politics editor at TheRoot.com. Joe Conason.